Hello, and welcome to Whole Brain Thinking, making the most of your mind. In this short video, we're going to look at the two sides of our brain and the different ways in which they work. We're also going to look at our brain bias. That's our tendency to use one half of our brain more than the other, and the implications of that on the results we're getting. So let's get started. This is the human brain. We're looking at it from above as if the face was at the top of your screen and the back of the head at the bottom. This is one of the most exciting and mysterious places in the universe. We actually know more about outer space than we do about the workings of the human brain. In fact, it's only in the last 50 years or so that we've begun to get any grasp at all on the way it works. Two of the earliest pioneers on brain research were Doctors Sperry and Ornstein, and their work in the 1960s earned them a Nobel Prize. Most of their work focused on this central part of the brain that joins the two hemispheres. It's called the corpus callosum, and it's made up of about 300 million nerve fibres which transmit information between the left and right sides of our brain. Working with patients whose corpus callosum had been severed or damaged in some way, they were able to identify distinct functions for each hemisphere of the brain. It was this research that gave rise to the term left-brained, right-brained as a way of describing the different ways in which people think. In this model, the left brain is considered to be linear. It processes one piece of data at a time. Logical. It processes information regardless of the consequences. Analytical. It looks for proof and evidence. Critical. It accepts or rejects the information it's receiving based on its similarity to existing accepted patterns. Linguistic is the home of language. Pattern seeking, it looks for order and connection within chaos. Strategy, it deals with planning and timing. Right controlling, it controls the right side of the body. The right side of the brain, on the other hand, is considered to be chaotic. It absorbs disconnected streams of information simultaneously. Poetic. It's sensitive to pleasure caused by words, pictures, colours and their combinations. Imaginative. It makes new connections between facts to generate new ones. Risk-taking. It fights the restraints of logic and self-preservation. Philosophical. It generates meaning around abstract concepts such as faith or politics. Spatially aware. It can track the position of objects in three-dimensional space. Symbolic. It perceives meaning in shape or colour. Left controlling. It controls the left side of the body. Now, in the 1960s, we tended to categorise people as either left-brained or right-brained. But as further research has been done, we've come to understand that both sides of the brain are capable of all kinds of processing, but with their own unique way of doing so. So nowadays we see brain bias not so much as either or, but more as a continuum. And each person resides at a certain point on the left brain, right brain scale. Where they stand on that scale determines their own unique blend of left-brained and right-brained characteristics. Now there are two main contributing factors to each person's particular brain bias. The first is their genetic inclination. This is the degree to which they're predisposed to use one side of their brain or the other because of their particular DNA pattern. The second factor is what we call societal pressure. Or, in other words, our tendency to emphasize one side of our brain over the other because of factors such as our early successes at school, parental expectations for our job or career. Forget being an artist, you'll never make any money. Perhaps the greatest impact on our brain bias, though, comes from the requirements of our job. Because most businesses tend to value consistency and predictability over creativity, employees are generally encouraged to use their left brain far more than their right. So, for all these reasons, most of us have a bias in favour of one side of our brains over the other. Most commonly, this will be a bias towards the left side for the reasons we've already discussed. This has significant consequences in terms of our ability to problem solve, absorb new ideas, and generate new and better ways of doing things. But the good news is you can rebalance your brain. Now, later on in this series, we're going to look at a number of ways to rebalance our brains. But before we do, let's do a quick cost-benefit analysis. Obviously, you may need to sink some money into the project, but by far the most significant cost will be time. It's taken years to get you to your current brain bias, and it will not change overnight. Which is why you will need to exercise discipline. The business philosopher Jim Rohn says that in life we have to choose between two kinds of pain. Either the pain of regret because we never made those changes we wanted to, or the pain of discipline. It hurts too, but it gets us the things we want. Now, we're only going to invest time and discipline if we think we're going to get something in return. So in the next video, we're going to think about the benefits of rebalancing our brain. If you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to receive the link to the next one, just fill in your name and email address in the box on this page. You'll also receive details of how to follow the entire course. So I hope you've enjoyed this and found it helpful. Thanks ever so much for watching. Bye bye.